very, very, very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, all my listeners. We got a lovely lady with us, Rosemary Olender. A very warm welcome to you, and we say namaste. So, a big namaste to you,
Th-
Rosemary. So nice of you for being with us. Thank you so much. Before
Thank you.
I say anything about you, I request you to give a one or two line of your introduction. Then I'll be telling who you are. Please.
Okay, I'm basically an author, an educator, a school administrator, a consultant, and a speaker.
Wow, great. Well, whatever you have said is just a tip of the
Iceberg.
iceberg because you are so much. I really feel proud to have you with us. Well, Rosemary Olender, MS, CAS, Master of Science, Certificate in Advanced Studies, is an educator, consultant, speaker, and non-fiction author who blends professional expertise with heartfelt guidance on child development. With advanced degrees in teaching and administration and decades of experience supporting families and schools, she offers practical, compassionate insights to help navigate the everyday challenges of parenting and education. Her books provide more than information, they offer guidance, reassurance, and a shared sense of purpose. Her signature talk, Put Your Wallet Away and Raise Rich Kids. Wow, what an attractive name. Beautiful. Focuses on the real gifts children need to become emotionally rich, confident, and resilient people in these difficult times. She shows parents, educators, counselors, and all mentors of children, young and old, how to teach invaluable life lessons leading to success. Rosemary's goal is to bring families together and use stages, podcasts, summits, and workshops to make a positive difference in their lives. Still, there is a lot more to say, but let me stop here and once again welcome you, Rosemary. So nice of you for being with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, let me jump on the questions, and I request you to elaborate any one of the question that you think which needs more weightage. Please, you are free to do that. Well, Rosemary, one of the most important question which is very close to my heart. Your signature talk is called Put Your Wallet Away and Raise Rich Kids. Can you share the pivotal moment or experience that led you to this powerful message about redefining childhood wealth? What would be your reply? Rosemary, the stage is yours. Please.
Okay, well, you're asking where this all started. 30 years ago, my father was dying. He was in the hospital and he had cancer. My mom and I had been there for about 3 weeks with him, and it was getting close to the end, and we knew it. The night before he passed, he took the time to apologize to me and my sister for leaving us with quote unquote nothing. It shook me to my core. It was a tipping point for me because my sister and I grew up feeling like we won the lottery the day we were born to my father and mother, and grew up in that family. So I said to him, I know you're sick and I know you're dying, but are you out of your mind right now? Do you not understand the wonderful richness and the gifts you gave us throughout our
Beautiful.
lives?
Lovely.
And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have a
Hmm.
bank account. We don't own our house. We don't have a new car. I said, Dad, those are not the gifts
Hmm.
that are important. And he said, well, what are you talking about? So we
Hmm.
had basically a monologue from me. And
Hmm.
that became the book that I wrote called Coffee and Wisdom, A Father's Legacy to Leading a Rich Life.
Oh.
Um, the book is designed following the conversation I had with him with
Hmm.
12 chapters and 12 different gifts that he
Hmm.
provided us. Things like they were all non material gifts. They were gifts like the gift of time, the gift of patience, the gift
Hmm.
of humor, the gift of perspective and empathy. All of the things that are the core values and the core um, emotional quotient
Hmm.
traits that are so important for children to grow up feeling confident and resilient and grounded in their life so that they can become successful personally and professionally, as my sister and I were. So that was part of it. The other part of it was I grew up in a small town that was very dichotomous. We had a
Hmm.
group of kids that lived around our lake, and they had big, beautiful homes and lots of money, and their parents owned a lot of the factories in our town. And then we had the city kids where I was, which were more middle class families. I sat in classes with most of the kids around the lake because of my grades and learned very early on that money wasn't what made you happy. That my
Hmm.
friends in the city that didn't come from very much were very happy kids. And the kids that I was in classes with had lots of problems and they were not as happy, and they wanted to spend more time with me in my home with my family than they did their own. So that was what got me started. COVID
Hmm.
came along and I said, time to write the book. It was
Hmm.
meant to be just a memoir of gratitude to my father. And it ended up, when people as people have read it, being something to share with families, because everybody says to me, I didn't have a father like that. I didn't have those experiences in my
Ah,
house. Please share this with others. So that's what I did. And that's how we got on this train that we're on right now.
lovely. You've done a wonderful work. And as per your description, it shows that perhaps you have done your PhD in children's psychology, child psychology. Wow, great. Well, Rosemary, in your decades of working with the families, even with the children, elders, younger, and everyone, you have seen the difference between the children who raise with the privilege versus children who raise with purpose. So, what does an emotionally rich child actually look like in real life? And how
Well,
do they navigate the world differently? What would you say?
well, they are more self-confident.
Hmm.
They are more resilient when problems come up. And they're more empathetic and kind to others. They're not so self centered. Okay.
So,
So,
will you please repeat once again? They are more confident.
more self confident, more
Huh?
resilient when they're
Mm-hmm.
disappointed or when problems come up, and more empathetic and kind to
Oh.
others. They're not so self centered, um, because they've learned to really have. Everybody can have sympathy for situations,
Hmm.
but empathy is a different thing. Empathy is a true feeling in your gut as though you are that person and you are actually experiencing what they are and feeling it. So
Right.
um, I think that is probably the basic difference, is that they really understand that problems happen and there are ways to get around them, and they're confident enough and resilient enough to deal with mistakes, to deal with problems, and to deal with whatever's thrown at them. And there's a
So,
lot
if
being
I understood correctly, Because my impression is those type of children are more selfish, self-centered, but you are saying that they are more empathetical, helping, trusting in God. So perhaps,
The kids who have been given these kinds of emotionally rich gifts
hmm,
as they were growing up, yes,
hmm,
they're definitely more empathetic.
oh,
And we certainly need more of that today.
yes, 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 yes. Great. Well, Rosemary, I have one more question which came to my mind is many parents today feel paralyzed by fear, including my children. I have got son and daughter, and both are parents. So I have grandchildren, and definitely I can see the fear in their eyes very clearly. Fear of failing their children,
Mhm.
fear of
Yep.
world's dangers, fear of not doing enough
Yes.
for yeah. So for that, how can the parents move from the place of anxiety to one of the confident purposeful mentorship? How the parents can do that? What, how can you guide them,
Okay. Well,
please?
one of the things I do in my book is I list each chapter is a different
Hmm.
gift. And I
Okay.
explain to parents and to not just parents, but educators and caregivers of children, who's ever
Hmm.
working with children. And I talk about why that gift is important to grounding the child. Then I have some reflections of how my father demonstrated and modeled these gifts for us throughout my life.
Hmm.
And then I offer some strategies to parents how to employ that or use that or do that in their own home.
Oh.
I'm also working now on a workshop for parents and
Hmm.
maybe some consulting with parents who have specific issues going on. I was a director of special education. I can work with families that have children that are somewhat disruptive to the family cohesion because either
Yes.
there's a severe disability or there's a behavior problem or there's something else going on that takes a lot of time. And parents are really busy. There's a lot of reasons why parents are afraid now. They don't have as much time. There are multiple problems coming at us all the time. I just learned about some information that said college students, about 22% of college students now are on antidepressants. And
Oh.
that's almost double what it was a decade ago. So we have
Oh
to
God.
really see what's happening and give children the ability and the skills to navigate all of that. What I would say to parents, though, is there's some things parents need to understand. First of
Hmm.
all, there's no such thing as perfect parenting. It's a journey.
Oh.
It's a journey. And like every journey, it's going to have its ups and it's going to have its
Yes.
downs and its problems. So
Right.
you have to, they too have to be resilient and navigate those ups and downs. They have to understand that they need to be observant of their children
Hmm.
and not tangentially, but really pay attention and listen to what their kids are talking about, listen to what they say, and be present in their lives. You know, not material presence, but personal presence in their lives. In my book, I talk about my dad being there and the time he gave us all the time. Even if it was a snippet of time, he
Hmm.
gave it to us. And there are examples in the book. Um, Parents need to understand that they can take little tiny ordinary moments and make them extraordinary,
Oh.
that their kids will remember and
Yes.
say, oh, I remember when my father did that, or I remember when my mother did that. And here's a situation, maybe I can apply that. They need to understand that their actions speak
Hmm.
much louder than any of their words, that
Oh.
their kids are watching them as well as they
Yes.
should be watching their kids, so
Very
that
correct.
they're modeling all the time. And if dad's going to be a bully to anybody, even to another kid who's misbehaving, then it's okay to be a bully. So that's not what we want to teach them. So the modeling, yeah, it's a lot of pressure, but
Hmm.
understand you're going to make mistakes and you'll learn
Right.
from your kids too, and your kids will learn from you. But the biggest thing is that they have to be a model. And there's a lot of help out there. There are a lot of books out there that can help them do some things. I have worked as a school administrator and as a teacher.
Hmm.
I've worked
Hmm.
with struggling families a lot, and families
Oh,
with problem kids. And most of their fear is just needing to be understood as to what's going on in their particular family,
hmm. Right,
and then to be given some help and some strategies and some support to get through the issues that are going on. One of the biggest issues today is parents don't have time. Are
right.
A lot of them are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, or they're single parents, or they're divorced parents
Yes,
co-parenting, and they need
I
to
was
be.
going to ask you only because just yesterday only I had a lady who was specially talking about the divorced parents and
Yep.
the issue with their children. So I was
Yep.
going to ask you, have you worked with them or do you have
Yes.
any special tip
Oh,
for them specially? Please.
Absolutely. Children of divorce have to run a gamut of issues and problems. And what I essentially try to get the parents to do is I sit with them and I say,
Hmm.
okay, where are you coming from? What's your idea of discipline? What are your issues? What are your issues? The biggest issue is that they need to
Hmm.
be on the same page. That is one
Oh.
thing my mother and father did all the time. If my sister and I tried to do an end run around one
Hmm.
of them, you know, they would say, well, let me ask your mother. If I went to my father, he'd say, did you ask your mother yet?
Correct.
And, what did your mother say? Or let me talk to your mother first. Even if they disagreed, they would talk first and come out with an agreed upon answer. So they always were on the same page. And that's important even for divorced parents who are co parenting, because if you start juggling what your kids are thinking are right and wrong, or you can do or you can't do this, they're going to be a mess because they're not going to know which way to go, and they're not going to remember necessarily, depending on age, or they're going to become manipulative when they're teenagers to get to do the end
Correct.
runs around the other parent. So we don't want that happening. So that's key. So I think basically, um, allaying parents' fears that they're not enough, because they are. They don't have enough money because that's not the most important thing. They don't have enough time because there are ways to find time to give your kids, even if it's only 5 or 10 minutes. It makes a huge difference in their lives. I worked with one family that
Hmm.
they were doing 2 and 3 jobs, both of them,
Hmm.
because they were low income jobs, and they just didn't have time for their family. But I said, well, tell me about your day.
Hmm.
And come to find out, they had about 30 minutes in the morning together when everybody was brushing teeth and doing this and getting their juice and going to the bus. And we talked about, okay, how do we make that 30 minutes special? How do we do
Good.
that? And when you walk your kid to the bus, don't just walk them to the bus and say, have a good day. Walk them to the bus and say, I want you to think about 3 things today. I want you to find something in your day that's really makes you happy. And I want you to come home and tell me about it. And if anything upsets you today, I want you to think about it and say, when I get home, don't think about it in school. When I get home, I'll talk to mom and dad about it. That's the kind of thing you do. So you send them off, and that becomes almost a ritual, and they know that they matter.
Great. Well, um, Rosemary, I got hundreds of questions to be asked, but the time do not permit me. But okay, let me put a brake on my vehicle. Let me take my vehicle backwards. So instead of giving detailed reply, may I ask you to give shortest possible reply
Okay.
for the next of my questions? And
Okay.
we have named it as a rapid fire questions. For
Okay.
this, because that is the most interesting part of the podcast, and I'm sure that you will love it. So,
Okay.
here are my few questions as a rapid fire questions. Please reply in the shortest possible way. And the first question goes like this, and it says that, well, Rosemary, what's one parenting myth you wish would disappear? What's reply for you from you?
that you have to give your children everything they want.
Very right. Will you please repeat it? Lovely reply. I loved it. Yes. And perhaps I am the one who feels so bad that I was thinking that money is the only thing. But no, please repeat it. Please.
That they need to understand that they need to give their kids non-material gifts, which are more important than material things. They don't
Very
need
right.
to give them everything they want.
Beautiful. 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 Well, can you please give one word that makes a child truly, truly, truly rich? What it would be?
Acceptance.
Ah, yes. I really see in my grandchildren. My granddaughter, she is a basketball player, and when she loses for the whole day or perhaps for the whole week, she will be out of mood. Perhaps I need to teach her and tell and give your example. Acceptance. Yes, learn to accept. Wow, beautiful reply. I loved it. Well, Rosemary, the next question is your favorite moment from a workshop or summit? What is that?
My favorite moment from a workshop that I gave or that I
Yeah,
went to, that I
correct.
gave.
Either went to or gave or the summit you attended or you organized anything,
Okay,
anything for your.
that's an interesting question. I think my favorite moment is
Hmm?
when I had parents come up to me after a
Hmm?
workshop I gave and say, "Oh my God, could you work with me on this special situation I have?" Or "This
Wow.
was worth everything to me."
Oh,
When I know I
very
make
good.
a difference.
Yes, it makes a big, big, big difference. Yes, you're very correct. And what would be your reply, Rosemary, if I say that if you could put one message on every school wall, what would it be?
I would put, your legacy needs to be just love, presence, and wisdom.
Love, presence,
Presence
and
and
wisdom.
wisdom.
Love, presence, and wisdom. Wow, beautiful. Well, the next question is what's your go to self care ritual after a long day of speaking? What do you do?
I'm a TV nut. I like
Hmm.
watching
Hmm.
television
Hmm.
for ideas. I did that with my
Hmm.
dad my whole life, and it
Hmm.
gives me ideas.
Right?
So I kind of like seep into television shows and look at relationships and use some of the things I see in my
Hmm.
presentations and in my
Hmm.
consulting.
Wow, good. Well, would you like to give name of one book that changed your perspective on child development?
I don't know if it changed my perspective on child development as
Hmm.
much as it changed my perspective on what to do, and that would
Hmm.
be The Tipping Point. um, Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point. I look for tipping points in my life. I look for
Hmm.
tipping points in my children's lives, and we talk about them. And that's how we can make small moments that are ordinary into extraordinary moments.
Wow. Small moment into extraordinary moment. Lovely. Well, Rosemary, what's one thing that every educator should do daily? You are expert in that. Please advise me. I am one of them. I need your advice.
I think every educator needs to respect the
Hmm.
individuality of every
Hmm.
child in front of them and
Ah,
understand it.
yes, very correct. Yes, because as an educator, I think that, oh, I know so much, I know many things, but in reality, no, I need to respect others. Yes, perfect. Beautiful. What would be your reply, Rosemary? If I ask you that your proudest moment as an author, what was that?
I think my proudest moment was holding the book in my hand, which was a
Hmm.
tribute to my dad. who was an
Oh, will you
amazing
please repeat
parent.
again? I loved it. Please repeat again.
I think my proudest moment was holding Coffee and Wisdom, A Father's Legacy to Leading a Rich Life, in my hand, which was a tribute to my dad, who was a
Beautiful.
great parent and a great model.
And you are a successful author for such a lovely book. You have written a book, Put Your Wallet Away and Raise Rich Kids. What would be next?
Well, that's a question I'm getting a lot. I've thought about doing one about my mom, who had a
Mhm,
whole different set of gifts that she gave us. Being an Italian mother, um,
mhm.
cooking certainly would be one of the themes. And because cooking for Italians is love, and that's her love. Her love passport was her cooking. And maybe
Oh,
do one about my mom, because I feel bad that I did one about my dad, and that might be the next one.
great. One question was bothering me, I wanted to ask you, and that is because I know bit about schools, education, colleges,
Mhm.
system, university, and what I have taught is school, colleges, where you spend hardly 20% of your time, rest 80% of the time you spend with home. But still, according to you, what's the difference between the school education and home or parents' education? What
Well,
do you say?
school education is mostly subject material, art,
Correct.
math, music, all of that.
Right.
Um, and home is more the kinds of things we're talking about. It's more of
Mhm.
modeling core values and culture and traditions and rituals that are important in your family. I would like to see more teachers bring that into the classroom, and they are doing that. I had many teachers who did do that very successfully, and many teachers who turned problem kids around because they became the family. I had one teacher who would
Yes.
say to her kids, "You are in this classroom. We have families we are born to and families we select. You are my selected family for this year."
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
she
Yes.
she did a lot of these gifts that are in my
Hmm.
book in the
Hmm.
classroom, and we need more of it. Critical
Hmm.
thinking needs to be taught in the schools. Perspective needs to be taught in the schools more than it is. All of the
Great.
EQ stuff.
Yes. And one personal question that I would like to ask is, what should I tell to my daughter-in-law that you should go to school and ask the teacher what she should ask the teacher about her daughter who is studying under that teacher?
I think she should ask or tell the teacher
Hmm.
what her daughter is, ask, what is my daughter excited by? What is my
Hmm.
daughter really motivated by in the classroom?
Right?
And then tell the teacher what motivates her daughter at home, what really
Okay.
excites her daughter at home. That's critical. Teachers need to use the individual preferences
Correct.
and motivations of every child in their classroom.
Because most of the parents I have seen that they go with complain, 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 and complain only.
Yeah, no, it needs to be a relationship. My first book was about how to repair that homeschool relationship.
Oh.
It was called The School Home Connection, and it's in
Hmm.
my website. People can find it. And it tells administrators and teachers what they need to do and what they have to stop doing. And
Hmm.
it's good for parents to understand what's going on in the schools.
Wow. Well, Rosemary, I have so many questions to ask, especially from my side and from the audience sides, but the time doesn't permit me. Time is going to be up very soon. Well, I believe in God, so I literally pray Almighty God to give you all strength, wisdom, knowledge, power, money, time, and everything for the work that you are doing is really marvelous. It's just beyond at least my imagination. You are doing wonderful. Please keep on doing. Please continue that. And in case we can be of any help, please approach. And at the same time, we too request you that as and when time permits, in case we call you, please spare some time for us and be our guest so that the knowledge that you have We help you to spread it to the world. World needs it. World needs it.
I
Yes.
would be happy to.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And with this wordings, if you permit me, shall we come to conclusion with your last information or the knowledge or the sharing that you want to tell to our audience, please?
I think what I would say to your audience is remember one thing: you don't need money to leave a legacy. You just need
Oh,
to leave love, presence, and wisdom to your kids.
love, presence, and wisdom. Beautiful. At least I will remember that. So nice of you. Thank you so much. May God bless you and see you soon. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank
Namaste.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.